Thank you. We good? We're on? All right. Call this meeting to order. I've got to read the following. Recording and taping notification is required by law. The town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. Okay. Moving on. Approve Fran's minutes from last meeting. Very nice, thank you. Thank you for making that correction. I'm not an angel. All in favor of approving Fran's minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Second? Okay, good. Moving on, our old business is Heather and I went out to Harwich Port and kind of did rough measurements of what 150 feet looks like to us. It's not by any stretch of the imagination right by what the bylaw says, but it really gave me actually kind of a good look as to what it looks like. And 150 feet was surprisingly, not saying anything about anyone, surprisingly little footage for, you know, what is happening in downtown. And in fact, when we measured kind of across from Ember, we went into the Melrose parking lot and got called out by an employee there as to what we were doing there. Very nice person, but we were just trying to explain what we were doing. So that was kind of surprising to me, and especially when you got down to Perks and the port, it's just, everything is just so close together. It was
very close.
Yeah, you know, we were just coming up on people's properties. So that's going to be a really tough one to, I think, address, because no matter which way you look at it, sound does travel, and we can have people plug into these music noise controllers. You know, we can say you have to keep it down at this level, but at some point I feel someone's going to hear it.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be an issue. So I thought today with this meeting we'll go over some of the suggestions that we've received from residents and that we've put out there, and just see where we are as a board. Do we like it? Do we not? Approve, disapprove, some suggestions that are going on. Okay. Do we kind of agree to do something like that?
Sure.
Sure.
Also, I did not get an email back from Bill Rockwood, the sound engineer. He did email me. They're going through some family issues, and he'll get on it as soon as possible, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard back from 4Cs, from maybe someone that's in this communication media department to help us, just a local entity, you know, to help maybe with that. The legal opinion hopefully is forthcoming. I got an email.
I just heard when I was in with the interim town administrator, it is in town council's hands. So,
Great.
Yep,
Perfect.
they're working on it.
So hopefully we'll have that by our next meeting, which will really, I think, will be a really good guiding factor to get the town's legal opinion as to, I mean, we can all put forth our opinions, but until we see what the town council says, we're kind of
Right.
in the dark on that.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think so we did get a few letters, and one was that I got, I think maybe you got, it was from Sarah Powell. She's not able to attend the meeting today, but she and her husband sent along a letter.
Yes.
Yep.
I didn't bring it with me. It was in my computer.
Okay.
And I never got it out, but.
All right. I can read it because it kind of tied into the Columbus Day weekend music.
Yep.
Okay. It says, Dear Harwich Noise Committee, we're writing this letter in response to some of the recent letters delivered to the Noise Committee. There's a lot of allegations that simply aren't true, and we wanted to voice our side, giving explanation of the facts related to these accusations towards Perks. We did host live music provided by the Chamber of Commerce during the day on October 12, 2019. The Chamber hosted a sidewalk sale, as they do every fall, to help drive some after-season business to the shops and businesses located in downtown Harwich Port. However, there was another group playing amplified music in the parking lot behind the Chamber of Commerce, the yellow building parking lot. The speakers of that group were pointing toward the east, and most likely what was heard by the residents living on Bayview. At Perks, we had a small tent covering the musician, and their speakers were on the ground and pointed towards our patio and the south. We received a phone call at Perks from one of the writers of these letters, probably assuming we were the only source of the music. After profanities were screamed at us over the phone from this resident, we respectfully cut the music off and short of the remaining time they had left to play. We hope and wish not to upset any neighbors. We're genuinely sorry if we have and hope to not disturb these neighbors in the future. We've had live music at Perks for 10 summers/seasons. We were the first to host live music in Harwichport. If we truly were the root of the problem, these letters and complaints would have started years ago. The reality is, the complaints have drastically increased when other businesses started hosting live music. We've had less noise violations over the course of 10 years than others in just one summer. If someone's to call our restaurant to complain, they would get us on the phone and would react and respect the caller and their concerns. We do not have other people or managers monitoring the sound levels. We monitor on every night we host music. We've canceled and not rebooked certain musicians we feel may be too loud for our neighbors. We've restricted the amount of equipment musicians are allowed to bring and set up for their performances. In addition, we're planning on making improvements and modifications to our site to help dampen the sound levels. We do care about our neighbors in the town of Harwich. There are literally thousands of people who enjoy and flock to Harwichport for outdoor music during the summer. We hope that there's a way where all residents and summer guests can enjoy the music and the surrounding neighbors won't be bothered. Sincerely, Taylor and Sarah Powell, Perks owners. So, what I really find kind of upsetting, I suppose, is that someone would yell profanities. So, I hope it's no one that's been writing letters, although apparently it was.
It is.
You know, people need to keep their emotions in check. Really, that is ridiculous. You know, really ridiculous. It's not needed.
So I'm going to address this only because, as they mentioned in the letter, the chamber does host to bring more business to the off-season, and this was our 4th annual. The weather tends to be nicer. It was not this particular weekend, but we host a sidewalk sale and usually bring back 2 bands from the summer. Unfortunately, you know, there weren't many leaves on the trees, there weren't a lot of people out, so it didn't buffer the music. So I did hear from the Powells that day, and I then spoke the next day. I called the people that did complain and apologized, and then had a lovely conversation with them. Ended up that they were very happy that I had reached out and such. But they should not have been blamed for that. No one really should have been blamed. It just, unfortunately, the weather did not buffer it. We've usually had great traffic down there. Unfortunately, that Saturday, the weather was not in our favor. So I'm just going on record that that was the chamber.
Okay. Thank you. We got a letter also from Tom and Lonnie Cosmer on Davis Lane about the Witchmere.
Right.
This is for noise containment, so what we come up with, and if the Board of Selectmen want to go along with our recommendations, the Witchmere would be part of it. But, you know, the amount of guests, the size of the beach club, that has nothing to do with us. Absolutely nothing to do with us. I mean,
Historically, in the past, that property was way over use than it is today. I mean, they had a restaurant that would see 2,000 meals, serves 2,000 meals in a day. They had a 200-room hotel and a beach club.
oh yeah, the old Thompson's.
You know, back in the old days, yeah, not even that old, the 70s, 80s. You know, so it was a lot
That's where my
more
receptionist-
intensive use than it is today.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's not the point. It's the noise.
Right.
So that's all. I understand.
Hopefully we can come up with something to,
Well, yeah, I mean, we are the Noise Containment Committee, so we're not here to put anyone out of business. We're just here to put out some ideas to try and
Right.
compromise with everybody. Because not everybody's going to be happy. There is going to be noise traveling whichever way you look at it. I mean, that's the elephant in the room. I don't care where you live. The wind goes one way. The businesses can be doing what they're asked to do, and someone's going to hear it. I hear it at my house. Not loud, for sure, but I do hear it on certain nights. So, you know, that's the long and the short of it. So, let's get to some suggestions.
do you want to look at Mary's letter, Mary Alvis's letter?
Yeah,
was
she's
a
got a
good
lot of
letter.
suggestions here,
Right,
so
right.
that's,
Yeah.
we'll go to her because, and I think we had one from
Tricia Neal.
Yes, I have that one also. I do want to, for the record, say that the Claddagh
Oh, I did have that.
and the businesses that we're talking to in Harwichport are two separate animals in my estimation. The
Yeah.
business owners here, I believe, are really going to are trying to make, you know, a compromise. You know, they've been on record as saying, the Judd and certainly Sarah, as
Right.
we really want to be good neighbors, okay?
So you had the Claddagh as a separate agenda item.
I don't have Claddagh, I'm just saying they're two separate,
And
separate
let's
animals in
cl-
my.
let's-
Two separate areas of town.
Yeah,
I think
exact-
the Harwichport is
The Claddagh is
a
closed.
commercial hub.
Right,
It
the
really
Claddagh
is.
is closed, and what I mean is that, you know, we got some letters saying, you know, this is what happened with the Claddagh, but the businesses here in town, in Harwichport, are really, I think, trying to make an effort, or will try to make an effort. The Claddagh, I think, just got kind of crazy.
And
And
that's
it's
a,
new owners.
And it's new owners, yeah, that's why I said the Claddagh, that's the
Okay.
old.
Okay.
I have
Right.
nothing to do with the new owners, you know, I'm not saying anything about them, but, so I just wanted to make that clear, because a lot of her letter has to do with the Claddagh.
and that was the past, this
Right,
new
yeah, this is
gentleman,
the-
everyone deserves a chance.
Right.
And we need to, as we've all agreed, yes, this is the Harwich, but we're first working on Harwichport, because that's what we were directed on, so we need to.
So we're looking at all of Harwich.
Right, yeah,
We're
that's what I
looking at
first,
all of
that's what I
Harwich.
first said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Cindy, did you see, how does some of Mary's proposals feel to you did you think that
I
businesses
did
buying
look
things?
at it, I don't know if I brought it with me.
Well,
I have it here.
I didn't bring mine.
I've got an extra copy.
Oh, they did.
It's an extra copy.
So let me share that
You
with
still
you.
have enough time?
Nope, you have to share, you can share it with me.
Okay,
Do you have a copy?
I do, I have it.
Okay.
okay.
The first item, 4 to 8, generally, they haven't been doing it, it's not an afternoon happy hour type thing that they've had in downtown Harwichport. Usually the music starts at 7 and goes till 10.
Right.
That's what it's been historically.
Do we want to, at any point, talk about changing that?
No, I wouldn't. But that's the way I feel, but other people might have different opinions. 6:30 to 7 to 10, you get, you know, that's my opinion.
And I think too, that's what their entertainment license, everyone has been in front of the board at some point for their entertainment licenses, and it was all agreed.
That's what they asked for, that's what they approved.
And I think what we need to do is maybe just look at, again, when we've had these last two meetings, everyone around the room has said it's the volume. So if we look at some of the things that Mr. Nickerson's brought, that Bob's brought, about ways to control that, and again, bringing it on the businesses to have to control it,
So
that's going to help.
I'm not saying we should change the 7 to 6 to 10.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you that I go to bed at like 9:30. And what happens, and Bob Nickerson's mentioned this in his letter, or when he spoke, what happens sometimes is at 9:30, the band's going to their finale.
Yes.
that's-
And I'm
gonna be
in my
addressed.
PJs.
That's going to be addressed, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and
I
again,
agree.
so these are all going
They
to be
should turn it down later at
recommendations.
night,
Right.
between 9 and
Yeah,
10.
So-
I just,
Yeah,
I think that's a
like
good-
the Wednesday
good
nights, I mean,
recommendation.
we can mirror it on even something like that. Wednesday night, it's 9 o'clock, it's not 9:01.
Right.
I mean, I literally have the electricity for the bands that are by the Mad Minnow that I have in my building. I unplug
We
it.
just have them
So,
get down, tone it
but I
down.
think that when we're reaching out to each of the businesses, which I've spoken with, they all want to fix this and work together. But again, that's going to be, okay, your entertainment license goes until 10. That doesn't mean at 9:45, that last drummer gets to beat the heck out of the drum.
Right.
It, you know. you need
So
to-
the businesses are content in not having the music start until 7 o'clock?
Well, it's
I didn't say,
6:30.
I did not say
Right
that.
now it's
Is
6
it
to 10.
6 to 10?
But
It's 6 to
sometimes I
10.
just know the musicians don't show up until
Right.
10.
Or
I
till
mean, till
7.
7.
Right.
Yeah, but it's 6 to
It
10.
is
now.
6
Yeah,
to
we're not
10.
looking to change the hours, I
Yeah.
guess, just to be clear,
They can have outdoor entertainment until 10.
and not longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Another suggestion was outdoor entertainment 3 or 4 days a week.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
You said outdoor entertainment, no live performance entertainment. They have a sound system, they have a radio going.
No, I'm just saying, this is
yeah,
someone's
summer.
suggestion.
Okay. All right.
So
Well,
Cindy,
3-4 days.
Yeah,
this is-
we're just trying to either say yes or no as a board. You know, are we willing or?
So, You've already proposed
We talked
that.
about, yeah, we talked about, when Heather and I were meeting separately on marketing business for their business, but came up with the idea of calling it Harwich Unplugged.
Which is a great name.
So, maybe Monday, Tuesday, have it Harwich Unplugged,
And possibly even Sundays.
Yeah.
Still.
I'd
Yeah.
say Sunday and Thursday.
Sunday,
something.
and then
Yeah.
Wednesday night is a stroll. There's no need really to have, and I'm cutting it at 4 bands.
So you're saying, like acoustic only,
On
Wow.
Sunday,
but
Monday,
there might be some
Tuesday.
amplification, but just not.
No,
No.
What about
So what are you
acoustics?
saying, what's your definition of Harwich Unplugged?
acoustic,
Acoustic only, no
Yes.
amplification?
yes,
Right.
So they can't, the
Okay.
singer has to just,
correct.
What about acoustic on the stroll nights? Sunday and Wednesday? Acoustic in the outdoor venues. And
That does away with every band, and there's 40 bands throughout
no,
the
no, no,
season.
not your.
Oh.
No, because we're not, that has nothing to do with us, remember?
I don't,
The
I
chambers
know
have-
that when
I'm
you said
lost.
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So,
no.
No,
I think you were adding more noise.
Yeah.
To be honest. I think Wednesday nights, I know, and this is me saying it, and I'll have the conversation with them all, but I also place the bands for everybody. So Wednesday night, have it silent at the other businesses, other than where the bands play for stroll night.
interesting.
I'm lost. I don't
Why
understand
would
what
you
you're
do
saying
that
on the Sunday and the
you're bringing
Wednesday.
everybody to
No,
town?
we're leaving Wednesdays alone for,
Okay, okay,
so every other night, other than Wednesday nights,
okay,
the other venues can have music.
right.
Wednesday nights, it's where the chamber places them. There's no,
Okay.
so say I don't place a band
So-
at
okay.
Ember. They don't have music that night.
But sometimes you do put them in the...
No.
You never put them in...
I
in the-
never have.
Okay,
Let's clarify what I'm trying to say.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Wednesday nights
Yep.
will just be the Chamber of Commerce hosting the Port Summer Nights, which is the
In-
musical
in
stroll,
public spaces.
where we decide to put it.
Okay.
And we scatter it throughout Harwich Port, so it's evenly distributed. So usually it's Heather's is the big place, up that way, only because
Is
it's a...
Heather's?
No.
Oh, the other Heather. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Heather's Hairport.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So, that it's a big venue, people can dance if
right,
they
right,
want to
right,
dance.
right.
Okay,
Right.
so we scatter it along 28. So what I'm saying is, no one else should have music, because then we're containing the noise,
Okay.
right?
okay.
And then,
So
and that-
So Ember and Port and Perks, they won't have music on those ones?
correct.
Okay, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just what
I
I'm
don't-
suggesting. Again,
I don't
I'm,
agree with that, just because
Yeah.
you're bringing people to town, they want to go eat. The people have kids like it enclosed, so they can have their kids be there and playing.
Yeah. No,
Those
we
are
were
the-
just talking about
Those are the busiest nights of the
suggestions.
week.
no, I know.
Yeah, Parks and Ember have a lot of kids running around.
So, I mean,
So, I need one thing clarified.
that was just a suggestion. It doesn't mean
Okay.
that's...
No, no,
yeah.
Okay,
no.
okay, yeah, yeah.
When you place bands,
Yeah.
there was that night that you placed a band in Perks.
Because I have in the past. There are some...
So sometimes stroll nights, you might place a band in Perks?
I have,
You
yes.
have, okay.
That's it.
I have not in the past to Ember, because they usually have hired their own. So I
But
haven't
not on
had,
stroll nights, they,
yes, they
oh,
have.
they hire
Sure,
their
yeah.
own.
So you're
Yes.
looking to make a change.
I was just suggesting.
okay.
You know what?
Yeah,
You
sorry,
know what?
sorry,
No,
sorry,
no,
sorry.
no,
No,
you know
that's
what?
good, Cindy.
One sec. You know what? Let's just cancel my thought.
So if Ember's allowed to hire a band on stroll night, you let them hire a band, so that might be a fifth.
I don't let them do anything.
No, Ember's allowed to hire a band on
They
stroll
have an
night,
entertainment license.
Everybody is.
They have an entertainment license every day of the week.
Okay.
We have
but so
never,
does Perks, and so does,
Right.
but you're saying Perks can't hire somebody on stroll night, but,
you know
No,
what?
they can.
It's a
So-
suggestion.
okay,
Just-
They can, but they
Walter's
do
point
shut
was
it off at 9. They don't
do
go till 10.
shut it off at night.
Yep,
Yeah,
they don't go
okay,
till
so
10.
Let me clarify this.
Okay.
In the past, if I have placed a band at either of Ember's, Perks, or Port, which unfortunately I have not been able to at Ember and the Port because they've already had their own entertainment. We don't tell anyone that they can't have entertainment, ever. That is not what the Chamber does.
okay.
What I have done in the past, because I've had a couple of bands that we have used at Perks that are smaller, that we hire and we place there,
Okay,
5 to 9,
Yeah.
unplug it at 9 o'clock.
yeah.
I was just throwing an idea out there. I'm taking it off the table.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't make a difference.
I'm all
Yeah.
set.
Okay.
I'm taking it off the table.
Okay.
It was just an idea.
Okay.
Okay,
Are you sure you want to
Yes,
take off
I
the
am.
table? Okay, all right.
I second it.
Aye.
Okay, all right.
I agree.
Everybody should have a right to their
The stroll
opinion
night
here.
was always
Yeah,
a
I
fun
know.
night.
Okay.
But unplugged definitely on some nights of the week would be great.
Sunday.
Sunday unplugged, I think.
Sunday, Monday.
Tuesday, unplugged. Wednesday, stroll night.
But they would have music also on Wednesday night, because Cindy just took her idea off the table.
And they can have music until 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Until 9
Yes, I
o'clock.
would agree, that 9
Yeah.
o'clock. They can have it whatever they have.
So then we
Until
have Thursday, Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Everybody clear?
Yep, so
I'm
far,
clear now.
Okay.
And we still have the sound levels.
yeah, amplification.
Obviously.
And we have,
All of
ampli-
them
we
as
have,
well.
we have to decide.
Wednesday, you can't really, what are you gonna do on Wednesdays? It's really
No,
the other nights.
Just a lot going on.
Good with
Thursday,
that.
yeah.
But-
Thursday, Friday,
But now
Saturday.
we have to figure out what to do for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
Okay,
That
so
would be-
let's look at. what-
Right, that's where we're gonna do
Yeah.
all the other, the
Yeah.
fine tune it.
So what, some of the stuff in Mary's letter, she talked about, under amplification, there's a lot of stuff in her letter. But she talks about, she mentioned that she thought there were positive reactions.
I'm listening.
She said that she thought there were positive reactions to acoustic only, and that would be all the time, both from business owners and residents. I don't know if that's, if you see
People like different music. Acoustic only is, I don't know.
wearing on you after a while.
I think it would be a lot
Because you're
of.
limited on your musicians you can
Yeah.
have. Taylor, I just know from Perks and so forth, they get some great musicians from the South
Mm-hmm.
Shore in Boston that come down. It's just
Yeah.
one person,
Mm-hmm.
but they're, they had a person that was on The Voice this past summer,
Yeah.
from Nashville, they had a couple from Nashville, and,
Yeah.
they're not loud, they're just very good.
So there's, one thing I thought was interesting was the amplification, there's like light music, with like one speaker on and one amplifier, and the speaker was on the ground. It's on the second page.
I saw
Yeah, I
that
thought that
also,
was a
yeah.
good idea,
Yeah.
having speakers on the ground,
Yep.
nothing high up in the air. All speakers should be on the ground, whether it be just limited to one or more than one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Two, depending if
So,
there's two
so for the
musicians.
for the amplified nights, is that something we can?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that's a
Makes
good
sense.
idea.
Have the speakers on the ground.
Okay.
I think so.
And whatever they can do to, dampen their noise too, and you're not facing out towards, the street if you can.
Yeah, I don't
but-
think any of them do, really. I
Well,
mean,
and because it's just the way they're set up.
and
No, they don't, they put it in the building, that's true. They
their
put
little
facing the building.
three-sided building in there, which was,
Yeah.
So the house sound system, I don't really know what that means. Is that a big deal?
So it means you have your own sound system, so then you can, a
So
lot
the-
of the
the-
ones
the
today, they have
performer
their own
comes in-
speakers, they have, and some of them may be even like incorporated more on the property, so you can keep the sound down, because you can hear it in the back, you don't have to turn it up to get it to the back. You have it down lower, all the speakers are lower, and you can control it from a master control or from your phone.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that would be good, and would
Would be
business,
great.
are they too expensive for businesses to do, or are they?
I think they're
reasonable?
looking into the costs.
Yeah. So is that something we could recommend?
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
absolutely.
I asked
I
Sarah
think-
to look into it.
Yeah.
have-
Okay.
Because
She
one
and
of
her
the
husband.
guys who plays there is a good sound guy, and I know he was looking into that, doing that, come up with some ideas
Definitely.
for that.
And
for a
that,
superb
that
system.
puts the onus onto the business to be
Absolutely.
controlling the sound.
Yeah,
And not having Amber had that problem with that band that,
you have one person,
Yeah.
and Perks has had the same problems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so,
Well, they
so
don't listen.
recommending a house sound
There's
system.
some people that just don't
Yeah.
listen.
And then,
If
and
it's
then,
cost-effective for the business, you don't want to do undue burden if
Yeah.
it,
so there's talk, she also goes on to talk about sound baffling, and the speaker must be aimed, and that kind of stuff. So I wonder if that's, would be a role for us to participate in?
I think it's up to them to decide where it goes to keep the noise down, because I think they're all willing to keep the noise down.
Just have to figure out where it's
Yeah, what works best.
I mean,
Good.
Ember put up that building, the little three-sided,
Right.
which I think is a help.
Sure.
And I
start,
know,
yeah.
Perks, their musician always faces in the house.
Yeah,
And,
towards the south.
yeah, and the port has they have baffling here.
They
and
don't
then
seem to have much of a problem. 'Cause it
No.
doesn't escape there very, very much.
Right, and then they have like a structure
I mean, you
also.
can just tell from, do you, just on the violations this year they had, do you know what the actual violations were for Port and Perks? The actual number?
Oh, we got that. Yeah, it
This
was-
season?
Yeah.
It was very little.
There's a violation pending for perks right now before the licensing authority, so that means one warning, one violation.
Oh, really?
Yep, and the port has a warning.
Okay, so very little.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the sound baffling, I think, is a big thing, and I think Sarah had mentioned at their back where they have the cornhole, is to do something to mitigate the sound going to the neighbors behind them.
Right.
So what I was getting toward was neighbors need to work with the businesses and do this good neighborly stuff, but sometimes that's awkward. So maybe there's a role for us to facilitate that. Just throwing
In
that
what
out
way?
there.
What would your suggestion
I
be?
don't know.
You want to be the point person on
I
that?
mean, I think it'd be great,
Not
I think
at
it'd be
all.
great
Not at
if each business had to give
But I
two
would-
cell
it'd be
phone
help-
numbers to two employees per business, have on file for every night, whether they...
Actually, this was something that I wanted to add to the issues list.
Okay.
Because it was in Trish O'Neill's letter. She had some issues with communication. And
Yeah, she didn't want to have to call, right? Is that
right,
in her letter?
and last week Marna Bates said that they were open to receiving
Right.
calls. So my own personal experience was that, like, 2018, we called the police a ton, but before we called the police a ton, we called the venues a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't get through. Like, it couldn't get, couldn't get
Until
through.
you had their cell phone numbers.
That was the following year. The communication would break down a lot of different places. You'd call up a hostess, get through to a hostess, and she wouldn't be able
Not
to
gonna
pull
work.
it off. Or
Right.
the manager was too busy,
Right.
because it's going crazy at the restaurant. So trying to figure out a way to facilitate communication and responsiveness. I think we were working on the responsiveness already. But I just wanted to add that to the
Yeah.
issues
I mean,
list.
I've been there when Sarah's been running out to the street. That's been, with the port and Ember, I
Yeah,
haven't
so
seen that,
there's-
but she's
she's-
very responsive.
But she's a little different, because she's in charge and she owns the
She's
place.
there, right.
She's there.
And the other
It is
ones are,
different.
like, you're talking to hostesses or managers and,
Yeah,
Right.
Scott's the manager.
You need to have
Yeah,
more direct line to the top.
business owner.
right, right.
It should be required that they provide those numbers.
Okay.
But hopefully
That's
we
a good
can
idea.
come up with new guidelines so that we won't have loud noise issues to have these communication problems with.
I think that's a great idea.
That's what I would like to
Having that.
see us come up with, if we can.
Yeah.
I know this is probably no chief, but is there any way to, like, when the dispatcher, they get the calls, right? Where they have the venue's number, they call and say, hey, we got a complaint, shut it down, or keep it down? Instead of having to send a patrol car and do all that type of thing, if they had it up there. I know they're busy, and they have other important things to do, but.
No, I'm just, I think the time to intervene in the complaint process is before the call to the police.
Right, but if
So
the
after we
resident.
get the call, I'm hesitant to
Yeah.
do anything other than dispatch.
Okay. I just didn't know, because some
I mean, I had to think
residents
about
are
it
saying they don't want to call the venue.
So I have a
Well,
potential.
I know.
Come on.
Well, no,
I mean,
it's not comfortable to
A lot of
complain.
people aren't, it's
So
very
so
true.
I developed a prototype application where you go onto the form and you click which place it's coming from and your address or whatever. You can figure out how to do it, and it would automate that and get through, and would believe it will dial the text or email the responsible party. You can set up like that. You're rolling your eyes.
No,
It's
I
just a
don't
tough
roll, I'm
thing.
thinking it through,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
I'm not
Could be
rolling.
abused, you know, it's
Yeah.
just.
Or so could phoning, but
Well, you have to call the-
I
you
don't
call the
think,
police
I don't
department,
think.
call the
people-
venue directly and talk to
Okay,
them.
if it's
You're
abused,
less lucky.
if it's abused, then their
Yeah.
privilege is lost or something like
Right,
that.
yeah.
It tracks the calls in
But
the
then how do you
database.
enforce that? How do you
Well,
take
no, you
something
don't-
away
you
from a
don't- well,
private
you-
citizen? If they're abusing it.
Okay, well, let's pretend they don't abuse it, because I don't think people are out there to abuse it. In general, I don't think.
Okay.
But I think it would facilitate communicating, like, I was able to text Sarah. That was a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if I did it 5 times, she might not like it, right? So, well, I wouldn't like
That's
it either.
lucky.
right?
Wow.
So, but,
It's their business, should.
wait, so, but like, if there was a way to, I'm not saying I don't want to force it, but we should look at it. Can we look at it at some point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Just so I understand it, though, you're saying technology that you've been,
I prototyped an app on an app developing tool called FormStack.
Okay, so
And it's-
basically, it'll say that you've already submitted a complaint to Sarah, so therefore 5 other people don't have to do it, or I just?
No, it's not that sophisticated.
Okay.
So my wife's a software developer. You first start out with you start off with the cupcakes. I used to be too. You start off with the cupcake. When you get the cupcakes, then you work on the cake, and then you can do the wedding cake. So this is a cupcake.
I'm just wondering about
It's worth looking
how the
at. I mean-
application, is it just as simple as text message?
Well, I can show you another time.
Okay.
So,
Well, put it on, yeah, if you want to show.
It's going to take a little time to put it back together, but yeah.
I think, yeah, it's the communication, as you said.
Yeah. And people, I agree with Bob, people are very reluctant to call the venue and very reluctant to call the police.
I guess, I guess you're
They
right.
really
I
are.
just don't understand that,
Well,
but
it's like if your neighbor is having a big party, it's like, I don't want to call my neighbor. I don't want to like be the jerk, right?
But these businesses know now.
Right.
But
They're
it's the people who are have the onus on them to make the call, and it's
Well, I'm
tough.
hoping, moving forward, I'm hoping when we make our report, make our recommendations, that we'll have something in there for communication, a couple of
Okay.
phone numbers, and they would have to comply. They get a phone call, that business owner would have to comply with the complaint.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know, I mean, application, all that sounds great, but I don't know, that we can look at it. It just seems like very complicated.
Potentially.
Potentially,
Or
yeah.
it might be simpler too.
Yeah.
It could be, but I just think if we put these suggestions in place, hopefully we won't have too many
Yeah,
complaints.
that would be great.
But I think we all agree,
I think the
not
first year-
everybody's gonna be happy
we're gonna-
because you're gonna have, they could be in complete compliance with their entertainment license, and then, you get a gaily, windy day, and someone down this way is gonna hear it. I mean, what do you want the business owners to do? That's the other question. If they're in
Right.
compliance, what does the neighbor want?
Well, if they're in compliance and there's a windy day, the neighbor's probably not gonna hear them, if we have regulations such that,
What I'm saying is sound travels in different
It
ways.
does.
yeah.
So
I know
it
it
does.
does, I
Windy
know it
days,
does.
it's the
Yeah.
no wind.
The no
The
wind,
no
or
winds,
or whatever.
whatever.
Humidity,
Yeah.
You know.
it's just, the humidity's good. It's clear fall nights was brutal. It was so, it just traveled like crazy.
Yeah.
I know, so it's
Fall.
like, they're in compliance.
How about types of instruments? Is that a,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah. What do we want to say about that, the types of instruments?
Well, I think like the no drums and no brass or horns and cowbells and tambourine, I think that's pretty doable.
Yeah,
I
the only
mean,
time that happened would be a stroll night, yeah.
Right, I mean, and
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with us.
Right.
Right.
But we're talking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not stroll night.
I don't remember them ever having
No,
Anyway,
horns.
No one's ever. The
Yeah.
band's
steel
that way.
drums? I've heard
Drums.
steel
Oh,
drums.
they did hire a guy who was a steel drum guy, yeah.
that-
It's
that
just,
carried-
that was
that
it.
a lot
Did
of,
it really?
some bands
Yeah.
have
So you have
drums,
to tell them
so
not
if
to
we
have
say
that
no-
person.
no-
that's
Or
what,
steel
that's what we're
drums.
looking at.
Yeah,
Well, there was
no
a guy
cowbells,
that's,
no
you're
drums,
right,
no-
because there was a guy a couple weekends ago at the corner of C Street.
There is. There's
Right
a-
there, and he was playing it.
Oh,
I could
yeah.
hear that on my street on
Go
miles,
on,
and I
really?
can't
He's at the
hear.
On the xylophone thing?
Yep, and I
It's like
could,
Schultz
and I
Market,
can't
it's a
hear
steel drum.
the music during the summertime, but I could hear those
But
steel
he's
drums.
not even hired by any,
No, he was
plays
just playing
Shaw's
on
and
the
stuff.
side.
No, but
Yeah.
this particular gentleman that Walter is speaking of, yes, he is hired by someone.
Oh, he is?
Yes,
Not-
that's been going on
Was
the
that on
last couple
stroll
of
night?
It
weekends.
just wasn't
No.
loud. I mean, I
This
could
is
hear
the
it, but
last
it
couple of
wasn't
weekends.
loud.
Oh, okay.
You know, I could hear it, but it didn't,
It was
wasn't
a
loud. And
miserable
when you got
day
up,
and he was out there.
and,
I know,
and the
so
thing is, when
lame.
you got up to Harwich, it wasn't loud.
Oh.
It really wasn't, but I could hear it.
Yeah.
You know, I could understand the song even. It was crazy.
I was, just about the drums, I was talking to my husband who's a drummer for a long time, and he said there are ways you can dampen drums. One,
Sure.
instead of playing with sticks, you can play with rods, you can play with brushes, there's ways that,
Yeah.
so maybe not saying, well, no drums, because there's a lot of bands that
They
that
have
have drummers
drums,
and they're really
exactly.
good, and
Yeah.
you don't wanna.
But most of them, I don't,
pass them
those
up.
guys, they just
I've
don't
never-
have bands.
Yeah.
Unless it was a stroll night.
I-
So
You
usually,
know? They'll
so-
have some kind of beatbox once in a while.
Okay.
So
The guitar,
I've never
usually
seen a
it's
drums
just
down
that,
there,
you know?
So that makes me think of one other thing that Mary mentioned, I couldn't see it in here. They limited the number of performers too, to like, I don't remember, it's 2 or maybe 3.
2 or 3 or something like
Yeah,
that.
and if,
Yeah,
do
I
they
don't think
generally
they
have,
have more than 2.
Uh-uh.
2's the max unless it was a stroll night.
They can't fit in the hut, the
Right.
little.
They can't fit, yeah,
Yeah,
the
they
little
can't
stage.
fit.
Unless it was a stroll night, they
Where
never
are you
had more
talking?
than
I've
two.
seen like 4 at Ember.
Well, maybe at Ember, I don't know.
Before they put in
I
their
just don't
thing?
see
Yeah,
their
they
thing.
do.
that
Well,
goes on
so-
down there. Well, they had a lot of complaints though this year
Yeah.
too.
Right, so can we say
Can
that
we say maximum 2 performers?
Two, yep.
So then, if you're gonna have 2 performers, not likely to have a drummer, right?
No,
You might have a guitar, well, you,
I mean, you can have a,
but I would say except for Wednesday nights, except for a stroll night.
no
Because-
drum.
Yeah.
You know, a good way to word it is no instrument that the sound level on its own cannot, no, I was gonna say cannot be controlled, cannot be.
Two performers except
But
on
two
Wednesday
performers,
nights.
yeah.
You know, they
because,
can-
well, you can have like electric drums that can be, I mean, I know
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like playing
Yeah,
with
they
them,
don't
but
have-
they can. But-
right, right.
But I still think, I
It
mean,
was
you
never
can
an
We
have-
issue.
don't need drums, cables, we don't, yeah.
I don't, you know, maybe Ember did, but
Ember
you know, they had a
did
lot
have
of problems this year, and I, you know, that's probably why. That's crazy, you shouldn't have that. But I think they should be given some leeway on Wednesday nights.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely, Wednesday
Yeah.
night is
The big night.
a big night.
Yeah.
but We're sort of talking about Thursday, Friday, Saturday
Yeah, I
right
agree,
now.
two, I think two musicians at the most.
Yeah,
So let me understand. Two musicians at most for 7 nights? Or as, what do you talk about on
Yeah,
Wednesday night?
except for Wednesday,
Well,
And what
acoustic-
on Wednesday night? How many?
just whatever the.
Yeah,
Whatever they
whatever.
want, okay, all
Well,
right.
You know, acoustic nights, you can
But
get.
it's only it's shut off at 9.
Right, okay.
What about like, what's it?
the Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays,
Like little
acoustic
singing groups,
only,
sometimes they have
no
little singing groups, like 4,
amplification.
3, 4 people. You don't want that?
Maybe they had that in Ember, I didn't.
No,
haven't
I've
that.
seen other places, not,
Oh, okay, like a
like-
cappella groups
yeah,
or
that's the
something?
word I was looking for.
Oh, okay. No, I
That
haven't
might
seen
be
any of
cool.
that.
I don't know.
You know
I
it.
know, see, we start to get into the
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
of
yeah.
music, and we're like, that's kind of cool, maybe we
not.
should make, we can't make exceptions, it's got to
Right,
be
right.
fair for everybody.
Right.
Right.
And we
But
could-
you're
we could
right,
cha- We
that-
could change that in the
We can
following
just
year.
put these down and hash them over,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
these suggestions to come up with.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually a
think we're
good
done.
point.
Are we done?
No.
It's good, it's time for Thanksgiving.
Oh, God. Are you getting all this?
I think,
Okay, good.
we'll see. 2 performers, 7 nights a week, except Sunday.
So Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Wednesday, I wrote
Mhm.
Wednesday, sorry.
and I would
No drums,
agree,
no cowbells, no horns.
yeah. And the
What
drums
are
we
the
have to-
hours,
we
Thursday,
have to look at the
Friday,
drums.
Saturday, that's 6 to 10, the same as the,
Mm.
yeah, as the, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's in
That's
their,
what I-
that's in their
That's
license.
what I think, yeah.
So Cindy, I haven't heard from you for a while. Are you thinking the businesses are okay with this?
I'm just taking it all in.
We'll
Yeah.
find out, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, because we'll get comments, and we do a list of suggestions, but we can get comments, and, you know, on those suggestions before we do a report.
Yeah, it'd be good to get comments from the residents on
Exactly,
this too.
absolutely, yes.
Well, that's why we're doing this without
Mhm.
comments, so we can get through it in 1 or 1.5 nights.
Right.
Because this summer, March seemed far away, and now it doesn't seem so far.
No, it comes quick,
Mhm.
thank God.
Now, as we're,
Nights like tonight, you want summer.
Yeah.
as we're doing this, and again, Harwich, but I'm looking at all of
Sure.
Harwich. We have rental homes that are wedding destinations, and weddings are taking
Yeah.
place in rental homes right now, and in Harwichport.
Okay.
So what we're coming up with would be
I don't know.
applicable to them as well.
It should be, but are we just talking about the entertainment license tied to the liquor licenses, or are we
Are we
talking
talking about
Just,
noise
yeah,
in
this is a
general?
question.
Noise.
I thought it
Maybe
was
Deputy
with
Chief
microphone.
Considine.
Nor a charge, really?
Yeah, we should look at the charge too, but do you
I
know
get
offhand, the wedding performances, are they done on a entertainment license at Witchmere, or are they done on special permits?
No.
Do you know
Yeah.
offhand?
Well, I thought we were just dealing with outside noise, not,
Well,
They
We
must
are.
have a license just like any other
oh, yeah,
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not individual.
okay.
so it's different. Inside had different rules than outside.
But we're talking
Right.
outside now.
Outside.
We're
Well, what
talking
happens
outside.
Right,
if
so
No,
don't
it's not.
they have some outdoor weddings?
Yeah, but I mean, these restrictions aren't gonna work for Witchmere, for a wedding band. I mean, we can't just say
Right,
you can
right.
only have 2
So-
acoustics and all that. I didn't think this was
Yeah.
applying
No,
to
no,
that.
no.
Yeah.
we're talking about noise in Harwich.
Yeah, but with these restrictions we're putting on the bands, it's not gonna work for a Witchmere
This is
or a
not
Waquasit.
This is not a
You
Witchmere
know,
or a
you
Waquasit.
want lawyers in
Waquasit.
here and everything
So
else?
I
No.
just asked about a rental home.
Right, so like on Freeman Street, the one behind there, Stepping Stones,
Yeah.
has weddings, right?
Yeah,
And there's been a lot of problems with that.
so I'm asking, that's what I'm asking about.
So that's under the general noise
What-
bylaw,
What
right?
do
'Cause
they
don't get
do?
a
Do they get a,
license.
do they come and get a,
No, that-
Did they get a permit?
That is covered under the regular.
General noise bylaw,
because
right.
They don't have a entertainment license or.
Right.
license.
so
Okay.
that would be under the general noise bylaw?
Right.
Right, so 150 feet from the point of sound, right? I think it is, yep.
So that's us going down and asking them, or telling them, we got a noise complaint, and 9 times out of 10, they turn it down.
Yeah,
And it's not an issue the rest of the night.
right.
Okay.
The volume, that's the issue, and we're never back there again, for that particular night.
What's
Right.
your name? I'm so sorry.
Considine,
Constantine?
yeah, Considine.
So they're outside of our.
Well, I
purview,
think
would
Frank's
imagine.
right, it's
under
part of the noise,
It's part
but
of the noise,
So they
yeah.
would call the,
but I'll have to look at the charge and says, does it say,
Yeah, we should, and we can table it for, once we get the hard stuff done, right?
right?
yeah,
I
because we
think
need
we're
to get
looking
through
at
this.
entertainment licenses outside or,
So
yeah,
charge
Yeah,
say
they charge it.
specifically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has nothing to say about, the private home ones.
But
but does
what
it?
does it say about the businesses, or what, how is it worded? We're looking,
Are you looking for something specific?
Yeah,
What?
the charge,
Yes.
What
The
do we
committee shall obtain information from restaurants, nearby residents, and other town residents to understand the issues, including a thorough review and understanding of the requirements currently in place in Harwich bylaws, including the definition of audible noise.
or which
Bylaws,
bylaws.
that's just-
So that's under the noise bylaw.
We
Okay.
need this discussion early so we all understand the requirements from all sides, business, residents, police, fire, etc. So it is clearly defined, so the establishments understand the limits the police can have, a uniform enforcement, and residents understand the limits of noise levels. And then it goes into the objectives. Following the above report, improve dialogue, propose audible noise, manage control. But were you looking for something
okay,
specific?
so,
No.
let me get back to this for a second. So when we talked about this at the beginning, it brings it back to me. The chief said, Officer Constantine said,
Deputy
it also deputy, whatever chief, and, said, like he said, they turn it down once they get annoyed. So we weren't gonna concern ourselves with that because it's all handled, all the complaints that, for the entertainment licenses at the liquor establishments.
Yeah.
So that's what we were counseling.
That's what I thought, we were
Yeah.
just more, on the private end, I mean,
Right.
if they don't have an entertainment license or liquor license, what
What
good?
can we do?
Nothing,
Right,
Nothing we can do.
no.
right. Or if it's
But
a
the,
weed
it's
whacker
a
or,
police, yeah, it's a police
you
issue.
know.
Sorry.
Well,
Or it's-
but if they have an entertainment license, under a liquor license, like a restaurant does,
Mhm.
and they want uniformity under the charge, that could be pertain to them.
But not Wachusett and Witchmere, they're two different
But
animals.
if they have an entertainment license.
Yeah, we don't
Right.
want it to.
But because their business is weddings, it's different than what's happening and what we're dealing with.
Why? It's entertainment. It's loud, it's entertainment, yeah, it's a liquor license. So I would say,
No speak.
but I would say you would have to be careful, because they just said
that's the way it
uniformity. They just said uniformity in the charge, so,
I don't believe, but it said restaurants, I don't believe they're speaking of our wedding venues
I would just, maybe I would
and our
suggest
conference
that
venues. I
in
don't
a-
believe that's what they were,
In an update.
I mean, we
to
could
the
certainly
selectmen,
ask.
Maybe that's a question that you may have to get
I think
clarified.
we-
Right, because
need
this was, what Waquasit has concerts. Do they have complaints? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Aren't
that's
they
right,
out-
they do.
aren't
And
they-
jazz-
Yeah,
jazz
jazz
Aren't they
festivals,
out-
they
aren't
have,
they out-
G-Love goes and plays there. and
I'm not familiar with how they're set up, but aren't they kind of?
They're in the
away?
back there,
Yeah.
but technically, I mean, the owners live in the neighborhood, but they could have complaints. I'm just,
I'll reach out to our liaison about that.
yeah, that's, would be good. 'Cause I don't want a bunch of lawyers showing up.
No. I'm not equipped for that. All right.
So what else anything else from Mary's recommendations, Bob, that you think we should be talking about here?
Yeah, it's such a long letter. think we went pretty much through everything she had there.
Right.
Yeah, we can pick out the main things.
Picked in-
that help
picked the
these
bones on this one
circumstances.
pretty good.
Yep.
Took a lot out from it.
I think,
You know, it's a good letter.
I know something that people have commented on frequently, and that's the speed of violations and penalties.
Right.
And that's out of our hands, though, isn't it? Although suggesting violations, is that something, and suggesting penalties, is that something that outside of us too?
yeah.
I think Cindy, didn't you say,
Yeah.
Cindy, that Mr. Clark had started drawing up a list of,
He was going to,
No, he's
a
leaving.
checklist
Right.
of how he got to what he did with his past one. So I don't know where that stands at this point.
I can,
so that would be something we'd like to do.
Yeah, it would
reach
be
out
great
and
if it could
find
be,
out,
but I
yeah.
don't know what kind of rights the business owners would have. That's the only part that could
Mhm.
slow the thing down. That's why this has gone so long.
It's just like a speeding ticket. You'd have to-
Yeah, it would be great to
Should
be
be-
able to
you'd have to be able to
say,
do
you
it.
know, you got 2 violations tonight, you're shut down for the next week.
Mhm.
You know?
And
It would be
not
great.
wait 6 months.
No, I
mean,
agree.
If they
Mhm.
knew what their violations were,
It would, a little bit more teeth
Right.
to it.
it
Right.
would be really nice
Mhm.
to, at least for us, I think, if we can
I
come
can
up with
send
some-
out an email to our liaison on that also.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
find out if,
That would be
if that's even in the works.
Right.
Is that
They
something
may say
that
that's
we
the board, 'cause we're
concern
just making a
ourselves
recommendation to
with?
the board and we'll
Right,
figure it
yeah.
out. The board and town manager.
I'll do that, yeah, no problem. Okay. Does anyone have any other suggestions? Who's our next secretary for next
Well,
week?
we haven't,
Sarah hasn't had a turn yet.
Yeah, she should be here. Let's talk about the next meeting, when it would be.
next week?
The only problem with that is, when it's next week, I have to do the agenda
Really quick.
really
Really
quick, and
quick.
so it doesn't give us time
Yeah.
if we
And
have
then
to
The
the
go
week
week
out.
after is
that's Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving,
week, and
so
then
that
we'll be
puts us
away.
3 weeks.
We should do it first week there in December. Sarah, I know I talked to Sarah, she said she can come back.
Yeah.
She'll be up here.
And that's December,
I think it was the,
That would be
Third.
That would be December
Third.
3rd.
okay.
And if Sarah doesn't show, you're the secretary,
okay,
Oh, jeez.
right?
I'll make sure she gets here. I'll go down and drive her.
And I am going to request 5:30, and please, and have public comment
Yeah.
at the beginning of it.
No, at the end.
Well, so
I
that
like
they
it at
can
the end.
comment, or in the middle.
Well, so we
you
can
don't
put it up
shut
there.
them,
I-
shut them down. Just so that if we're gonna be having suggestions and everything, it would be really nice to give the public.
Well, I
A
think
chance
what
to
we're,
comment.
I'm gonna post it. They can look at it online. We can get through our old business and then open it up for public comment.
Yeah, after old
Instead of
business.
trying to split the meeting, we do part, and then people go on and on and on and talk, which they have a right to, and then we try to catch up on the end. It just doesn't work. So if we can do our
So
business
make it-
quickly in the beginning, and then have the public comment
Maybe
after.
more. But make it 5:30, and maybe we can go till 7 o'clock if we need to, so that the
Mhm.
public can feel like they will have a chance to talk.
Especially, now that we
Yeah.
have some
Some su-
suggestions,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
might be worth hearing what they're,
Let's go to
what they have.
later. Yeah.
So let's go over our suggestions again. Or what we agree on is, we agree not to change the hours. We agree to have acoustic, was it 3 nights?
Yep. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We agree to limit the band size to 2 players except for Wednesday nights.
Yep, and on
Wednesday
Wednesdays,
night.
it's shut off at 9.
Okay, shut
Wednesday
up.
goes just as is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
No,
as it-
because they could go till 10, but we'd tell them they gotta
Wednesday's
stop at 9.
9.
Okay,
Okay.
right.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right, and do we
Because
agree
everybody's been inundated
And then
with
no
sound.
music after 9
Yeah,
on Wednesdays.
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the hours stay the same for every other night? And then do we agree on no horns,
Yeah, two musicians.
2 musicians?
No
Mhm.
drums, cowbells,
Unless it's
horns,
Wednesday, but yeah, no,
House system,
house system.
It's gonna be a
Look
suggestion,
into
yes,
a suggestion,
House
and
sound
hopefully
and
s-
speakers,
Yeah.
we'll have the speakers on the ground.
do you want to limit the number of speakers, or? I don't know what the difference is.
I don't know either.
If you
'Cause
have
someti-
two
'cause-
musicians, why would you want more than two speakers?
No, it depends, because sometimes you could put a small speaker with less sound in a different part of your establishment.
Yeah.
Like the
On
woofers
in the
in the-
corners, coming into the middle, as opposed
Right.
to having them all right there, trying to blast to the back. If it's a house sound system, you can do that. You can pre-wire and have them in various spaces.
Right, but we
Like they
don't-
do for like their internal sound system, their radios.
Mm-hmm.
They have small speakers that are around the property, that doesn't have to be as loud.
I haven't done
Well, so I'm not following that.
Sure.
one. So if we talk about just one or maybe two speakers, and now you're talking about lots of
Well,
speakers.
yeah, but if they're turned way down, because then, a lot of times people have higher volume, bigger speakers up high so they can reach the whole property. When you have them spaced around, you can have it very low, the sound.
I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying that's what they're gonna do, but I know there's somebody they're working with that's what he suggests. Maybe.
So, here's my dumb question.
It's like when you have your house, you have,
Yeah, and then you can control it in different
When we
areas.
say house sound system, speakers on the ground, are the speakers part of that system?
yeah,
So, okay.
you have the amplifier,
Okay.
the sound,
So-
control, the speakers.
So you could actually have more smaller
Mm-hmm.
speakers and then have the volume down lower
Yes.
than one speaker that's blasting so that
Mhm.
everybody
Exactly.
can hear it.
So do you think that would be an improvement?
Absolutely.
But you have to think.
If you can,
cost.
depending on the cost
Well,
and
if they
what
wanna
the
have a
speakers
band,
are.
that's
You know,
something
what
they have to
type of speaker
absorb.
you have to get.
That's easy
if
for
it's
us
a
to
guitar.
say. I mean, I
mean,
don't
I know it's
disagree. It'd
different
be
than
great
having
after-
your stereo on, so I just don't know enough about it.
So there's one thing for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or, I don't, that we haven't addressed.
Hmm.
And that's the 150 foot.
Well, that's what we're waiting for the lawyer.
We're waiting
so
for
we
the,
talked about that.
Yeah, so that is
liaison.
not a suggestion that we can put in
Nope.
yet.
But
Not yet.
we're waiting for
The legal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
about 150 feet
Yeah.
or for about the
No,
plainly
audible.
audible?
Audible.
Yeah, I'll
The
plan that.
definition of plainly
I'm
audible.
hoping we get it by next.
And then we can deal with those two maybe at the same time.
Yeah.
As soon as I get it, I'll blast it out to you guys,
Yeah.
so we can get on that.
So how, do we want feedback from the businesses and the residents
Mhm.
before December 3rd?
Yes, I would like some feedback. Yeah,
And-
residents, absolutely, we need to get.
How are we gonna get it out to the residents so that we can get feedback before December 3rd?
The only way we can do is just post the minutes and,
How do you post the minutes?
online, yeah.
Okay. And you'll do that fairly soon?
I
Or-
can't do it until we approve.
Well, you can't do it till you
Yeah.
approve it, so
I'll do it on the agenda.
do what on the
Okay.
agenda?
I'll put it on as an agenda
So
item,
then-
public comment, feedback.
But how we want
Because the
feedback
agenda
on
gets
our
posted
We want
before the
feedback
meeting.
on our proposal. You can go to the businesses and get feedback on our proposal, correct?
I can try to.
Which would be really good for us to have. How do we get feedback from the residents? So that we have that feedback before December 3rd.
The only way I can do it as a chairperson is to post the agenda and as.
That's not gonna have all of our,
Well, we could put it in the agenda.
unless you
Yeah.
put it in there,
Yeah. I don't
put
have
all
a
our
problem doing it.
suggestions in the agenda.
Prior business and then just list the.
Yeah,
And list
I
it
mean,
all.
it's not that many.
Preliminary recommendations,
So
and then
that we can
feedback.
get feedback,
Right, that would go
and that would go
part of the
back to
public.
you.
Yeah,
So can we make that part of the packet available somehow online?
what do you mean?
Well, when you,
We haven't approved the minutes. She can only do
oh,
what you just
okay,
said.
okay,
She's gonna put it on the agenda, and she's gonna post the
Mm-hmm.
agenda,
okay, I got it.
hopefully
I'll do it.
fairly,
I will,
in
but
a
I
week or
like to leave
so.
it open unless, I have to get Sarah, make sure that she's
On board.
on it. Yeah, on board also,
yeah.
so. I'll do it as soon as I can.
Okay,
As soon as I
like
feel
post-
comfortable that everybody's been heard on the board or on the committee, then I'll post it. And people just have to go online and see it. And I'm sure neighbors can tell, others.
Do you want to talk about this anymore?
Gotta read it over and stuff, but I think I mean, it sounds like it's a great
Save it for
thing,
next-
but
put
it's
on
not on
the
the
agenda
agenda,
next
so maybe
Oh, good point, yeah.
but I'd like to read it over for sure,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
I mean, it sounds like a great idea.
So in the next couple of days, I'll put out a preliminary agenda for everybody to look at.
And
And put that
mention
on
that,
there.
put that on there, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that sound okay for everybody?
Okay.
That's the only
Sounds great.
way, that's the only avenue I can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and we got I mean, it's December 3rd, so we got some
We've got
weeks
some time.
to do that.
Question on what you might put on the agenda, and that's because I didn't understand the person coming from Four Seas and what they might be able to contribute
Well,
to
that
us.
was on the agenda only if I got feedback from them to discuss it.
To discuss
To
what?
discuss, do we want this sound technician to come in and talk to us? I have to put it on the agenda.
Yeah, okay.
Or else we can't talk,
Yeah.
then we go another 2 weeks and we can't
Yeah.
talk about it. So that was like, I'm just gonna put that on,
Yeah,
if there's
okay.
questions.
Yeah,
If it's not on the agenda, then we just really
yeah.
back
I mean, is that
ourselves up.
something that we want, that as a committee, we want on the agenda?
Well, if someone's willing to come in, and I would, myself,
I'd
or
like
other
to say if
bo-
they have a suggestion.
Right,
more
we
than
could go talk to
Tell us
them.
about how sound
Mhm.
travels.
I mean, I don't mind, if someone is interested in
I think our
talking.
our
Yeah.
suggestions are
I
pretty
think
good.
that
I don't think we need, I mean, I'm thinking, I don't
We
think
may
we
not
need
need
it. I
them.
think
That's
we
right.
need to be
I mean,
rehashing,
I'd like to hear
working on
from
this.
Mr.
I
Rockwood
would
about
too.
his information.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable, and he's local,
Right.
tied in
Mm-hmm,
here locally.
okay, yeah, hopefully he'll get back to me.
So can I put forward an idea? This-
What's that?
This crazy thing?
I have one.
Okay, so this is a report, it's a paper by a Rutgers professor and 2 lawyers, and it compares and contrasts plainly audible and decibel things.
Okay.
And it's dry as dust. It's hard to read, but you only have to read the first 5 pages, and then it gets drier. But does a good job of going through it.
I like
It
this
has-
law. I'm used to reading tax law, so.
More power to you. Here.
So I can take
You
this home.
I have one.
Okay.
I don't have it, so
Yeah,
be good.
So don't torture yourself with it, because it's a tough read.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
thank you.
So do you want, I think next time, I think we might have a lot of people here, so I won't put that on for this upcoming agenda, maybe after we kind of get a lot of feedback.
I don't think we have to go into much detail on it. I mean,
Just some
summary.
background.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a summary, just like page summary. Um,
There might be something in there that really helps us with the definition of plainly audible.
Well, no, we're getting that from town council.
Yeah?
Mhm.
But
That will be bound by the town.
we'll be bound by the town's definition of plainly audible.
Has to be,
Has to be, doesn't
That's
it?
the town
Yeah.
council. You know.
Yeah.
And it might fall in line with everything else, I don't know,
Yeah.
we'll find out. Does anyone have anything else?
Could I volunteer something?
No, you can't. There's no, sorry. You can, if you want to write, email someone. Email me.
See if
You
I-
can talk to me afterwards,
Okay.
right after the meeting.
I'll do that.
Okay,
Whether I'll write it down.
that's okay. We can talk after the meeting then. Is that all right? No? Okay. Yeah.
As long as it's-
Heather
I
wants to-
think I have 3 minutes, so sorry,
Oh,
just very quick
what?
for the notes.
Oh, you gotta go.
Oh, okay. I just have one quick question. At the very beginning, when we said about the controller, we said we can plug in the controllers, people are gonna hear the noise and it will be an issue, but we need to discuss as a committee, do we like the controllers or not? That's the only thing I know.
Controllers, meaning this,
Yeah, this.
Oh, all the-
well, that's not even on the agenda, so. we're
Yeah.
just saying
Okay.
We're gonna review,
Right.
Mr. Nickerson gave us whatever, just mention what it is and say it's gonna be on the agenda in
Okay.
a future meeting.
Sorry, okay.
And whenever you want to have a motion to adjourn.
Yes. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay. Thank you.